5 phrases that make you poor. What if I told you that the biggest obstacle between you and wealth isn't your job, your salary, or even your bills, but your words? Yes, the very phrases you repeat quietly, unconsciously, almost like a whisper in your mind, are scripting your financial destiny. You see, poverty doesn't always start in the wallet. It often starts in the vocabulary, in your linguaggem interna. That's where the autosabotagem hides, where the mentalidad de escasez takes root. And here's the paradox. The poorer your thoughts, the more expensive they become. Society taught you that avoiding money is virtuous, that not caring about your bank account makes you a better person. But what if those beliefs are the exact reason you're still stuck? What if you've been trained to say things that sabotage your progress without even knowing it? This video is not just about dinero, it's about despota. It's about revealing the phrases sabotadoras that sound innocent, but are destroying your future. Once you hear them, you won't be able to unhear them. And once you replace them, everything changes. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you won't just recognize the words that are making you poor, you'll be armed with the mindset to reverse the damage. And when that shift happens, when your inner language changes, your outer world follows. Let's get into the first phrase. Someone else handles that for me. There's a subtle lie buried deep in that phrase. Someone else handles that for me. At first glance, it sounds responsible, even strategic. But I tell you, my friend, what often masquerades as delegation is actually quiet abdication. When a person hands over the steering wheel of their financial life to a partner, to a government system, to an accountant, they're not just outsourcing a task, they're surrendering their financial responsibility, and worse, their power. Without realizing, they begin to detach from the rhythm of their own life. Their mentalidad financiera gets blurry, and the autosabotagem begins. Imagine a captain on a ship saying, "I trust my crew, so I'll just take a nap until we arrive." Trust is essential, yes, but presence is non-negotiable. You can hire a pilot, but you still need to know the destination. You can have a financial advisor, but you must understand where your investments are going, how they're performing, and what that means for your liberdade financiera. This is educaco financiera in its purest form, not about becoming an expert, but about being engaged enough not to be lost at sea when the winds shift. Real delegation is about empowerment, not escape. The difference? One keeps you in the loop, the other leaves you in the dark. The path to independencia financiera demands clarity, and clarity only comes when you're involved. That doesn't mean you need to build spreadsheets at midnight or decode tax law on weekends. But it does mean sitting at the table, asking the questions, reading the reports, knowing the direction. Because once you unplug from your own finances, it's easy to slip into a mindset that tells you money isn't your thing. And that leads us right into the next phrase. Money doesn't matter to me. It sounds noble, doesn't it? Money doesn't matter to me. As if to care about money is to be greedy or shallow. But let me tell you a truth that decades of observing both poverty and prosperity have taught me. This phrase is not humility, it's abdication. It's a smokescreen. Behind it, more often than not, is fear, guilt, confusion, a deep-rooted linguaggem interna that says, if I pretend it doesn't matter, maybe I won't feel like I'm failing. But the truth is, money does matter. Because money shapes your options, and options shape your life. When the car breaks down, money matters. When your mother gets sick and needs care, money matters. When you dream of taking your kids out of that toxic school system, guess what? Mentalidad financiera becomes the bridge between where you are and where you wish to be. This isn't about becoming obsessed with numbers or chasing shiny things. It's about realizing that dinero neo aofim, ao mayo, the vehicle for liberdade financiera, for segurança, for showing up for the people you love when it counts. It's not about greed. It's about responsibilidad financiera. Now, imagine reframing that phrase to, money is important to me. How can I use it to build the life I want? You shift from mentalidad de escasez to mentalidad de abundancia, from passivity to purpose. You start asking new questions. How can I create more value in the marketplace? What skills can I build? What side income can I generate? What can I invest in? ETFs, maybe real estate, even a course. And just like that, your mudança de comportamento begins. The excuses fade. And so does the next phrase. I'm just bad at this. I'm just bad at this. There's a certain finality when someone says, I'm just bad at this. as if a verdict has been passed, a door has been shut. But let me tell you, that's not a statement of fact. It's a phrase sabotadora in disguise. It's a shield we raise to avoid the discomfort of growth. Because if you're bad at it, you don't have to try. You don't have to face the frustration of learning a new concept or admit that yes, you've made mistakes. But here's the truth. Intelligentsia financiera isn't a gift, it's a skill. Like cooking, like driving. No one is born knowing how to budget, invest, or navigate the stock market. A woman once told me she was just bad with numbers. I asked her, "How do you know?" She said, "I never learned." Well, that's exactly the point. What you haven't learned, you can learn. That's desenvolvimento pessoal. That's a mindset decrecimento. Instead of repeating that tired narrative, what if you said, "I'm learning about money. I'm just getting started." That shift opens a door. You start exploring, reading books like The Psychology of Money, taking courses on educação financeira, using apps like Enab or Guia Bolso. You stop fearing the spreadsheet and start seeing it as a tool, a mirror reflecting your prioridades financeiras. It's not about becoming a financial guru overnight. It's about building consistencia, brick by brick. One habit, one decision, one lesson at a time. You might not understand everything at first, and that's okay. What matters is that you've stopped standing still. You've stopped hiding behind phrases limitanis and started building your control financiero. And yet, for many, there's another trap lurking in the shadows. It's that voice that whispers, "It's too late now." It's too late now? The great illusion of time. It's too late now. Perhaps the most dangerous lie of all. Because wrapped inside those 4 words is not truth, but justificativus. Regret disguised as finality. It's the internal resignation of someone who looks at their past with sorrow and uses it as a reason to freeze in the present. But hear this, Kumkar Tard is not the problem. Not starting at all is. I've seen people begin their constructo de patrimonio aos 50, 60, even 70, and still achieve liberdade financiera. Not because they had time, but because they had intenção and consistencia. Think about it like planting a tree. The best time was 20 years ago, sure. But the second best time is today. The soil doesn't care how long you've waited. It cares what you do now. Start small. A simple emergency fund. A monthly contribution to a dividend ETF. A commitment to cut just one unnecessary expense. Open a Tesoro Dorito account. Start a CDB with 100 reais. Download a financial tracking app. The tools are in your pocket, literally. The mentalidade de crecimento kicks in when you realize that effort today compounds just like interest does. And here's the deeper truth. When you say it's too late, you rob your future self of every opportunity that still exists. You shrink your world. You shrink your escalas de vida. But when you ask instead, what can I do with the years I have left? Your perspective shifts. You move from guilt to growth, from paralysia to tomata de deciso, and soon, you begin to see clearly that it's not always about having more money. It's about having more clarity about where it's going. But just when you feel ready to take action, comes the next trap. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I can't afford it. It rolls off the tongue like fact, like math, like an undeniable truth. But most of the time, it's just another phrase limitandi wrapped in logic. What people really mean is, it's not a priority for me right now. And that's okay, if they admit it. Because here's the thing. Every time you say, I can't afford it, you place yourself in the role of a victim, a spectator in your own financial story. You blame the lack of money, when often, it's the lack of clarity, the lack of aligned prioridades financeiras, that's really behind your mentalidade de escassez. Let me give you an example. Someone says they can't afford to invest, but they're buying coffee out every day, they're upgrading to the latest smartphone, they're paying subscriptions they forgot they even had. It's not about judgment, it's about reprogrammação mental. When you change the phrase to "this isn't a priority for me," it forces reflection. Suddenly, you're holding a mirror to your control financiero and asking, is this really how I want to live? And in that moment, the mudança de comportamento begins. That's where your educação financeira becomes real, tangible, and personal. Because the truth is, you can't afford not to care. Saying, I can't afford it, keeps you stuck. Saying, I choose not to afford this right now empowers you. It means you're in charge. You're not just drifting, you're deciding. And in that decision lies your independencia financiera. That simple shift in your linguaggem interna breaks the cycle of autosabotagem, and for the first time, you feel what real intelligentsia financiera tastes like: freedom. But here's the kicker. None of this works unless you change the words you say to yourself every single day. Now that you've seen it, really seen it, let me ask you something. How many of these phrases have been quietly guiding your life? How many dreams have you postponed just because you believed your own script? Look, awareness is the first spark, but a KO consistent. That's the fire that builds liberdade financiera. So I challenge you, don't just nod and close this video. Don't let these insights collect dust in your mind. Go back and pick one phrase, just one, and eliminate it from your vocabulary starting today. Start speaking like someone que sabe onde querer chegar. How would your life change if you replaced every phrase sabotadora com uma afirmação de poder? What new doors would open if you upgraded your mentalidade financiera? Not tomorrow, but right now. Backhand index pointing down, leave a comment below. Which of these phrases has been stealing your future, and what will you say instead? And if this message resonated with you, if it woke something up inside you, subscribe to this channel and turn on the notifications. Because every week, we're breaking mental chains, building mindset, and unlocking the life you were always meant to live. Your independencia financiera doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your words.